Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is the I Heart Knitting channel. My name is Laura and today I'm going to show you all of my hand knit sweaters. Hopefully the light isn't too bright back there for you. I'm sitting on the floor because I needed a place to display all of my sweaters behind me, and the couch was kind of the best way to do that. So this is going to be a little different from my regular kind of vlog episodes because I'm just going to be going through all of these sweaters behind you and telling you as much as I remember about them, basically, because some of them go back to almost 15 years ago that I knit them when I first started knitting, and other ones I just recently finished. So yeah, I hope you enjoy checking this out. I'm not really sure what order I'm going to go in. I think I'm just going to start grabbing things. And you'll notice I'm wearing my new summer sorrel tee, which I finished this week. I love it. I'm very happy with it. But what I thought is next week I will do my regular knitting vlog episode, and then you can see all the progress I've been making on my knitting. I've been doing lots lately, so I'm going to do that as a whole separate video. But before I get into this, there is one more little admin thing that I wanted to tell you about, and that is that the Halloween knit along is going up on Instagram right now. So that is called the Spooky Socks knit along. So that is a very loosely organized cal that I'm running on Instagram. So all you need to do to enter for prizes for that is to post a photo of your Halloween themed sock. It can be your work in progress or your finished object, and hashtag it with Spooky Socks Cal 21. So I'll put that down below. But yeah, other than that, I think that's all I wanted to talk to you about. And I am going to do a little preview of the bags that I'm putting in the Etsy shop on Saturday this week. So that is, I don't even know what day that is, but this Saturday. So if you're watching this, it's going to be going up Thursday night or Friday morning, and then the bags will be in the shop Saturday. So yeah, I thought that the first good one to start with would be my first sweater that I ever knit. So this is the Central Park hoodie. So I can't remember the designer, but the pattern is, yeah, it's called the Central Park hoodie. It is a cabled cardigan with a hood. The hood has this fun kind of little pointy elven detail, and then when you do the button band, you can extend the cable all the way up to the top of the hood, which was super fun. This one actually doesn't have any buttons on it. I just did the button band solid. I thought maybe I'd put some toggles on it, but I ended up never doing that. This is, like I said, this is my first sweater that I ever knit. I love it. I still love it. It gets a lot of wear in the winter. I've reknit the cuffs at least once, maybe twice on these, and repaired them many times because the cuffs kind of come down a little long on it. And the yarn is Tacky Yarns Donegal Tweed. And again, I'm not sure on the colorway, but this is probably a 15-year-old sweater. So, not even sure if this colorway exists anymore. But yeah, I knit this very soon into my, kind of learning how to knit. I was off work one winter and really got into knitting, and I love it. It's worn really well. It's kind of amazing considering how old it is and how much wear it's gotten. It's really stood up pretty well. So I love that one. Another one that's pretty old is another cabled, really heavy cabled, detailed hoodie, and this is, you can see the hood on the back. The pattern is called Gwendolyn, and yeah, it has some pretty beautiful cable details on it, and it's kind of a traditional Aran style sweater. I do find the sleeves are a bit big on this one. Like, the body is fairly fitted, and then the sleeves are quite big, and that might be because my cables tighten up a lot of the body, where the sleeves only have the cable running down the outside edge. But it's really, really pretty. And I know it looks complicated and it's not easy, but I had a really good time knitting this and following along with all the cables. I really enjoyed this. And this is knit in Knit Picks yarn. So I think this is the Knit Picks. This would be the Wool of the Andes tweed. And it's in kind of this nice sort of like grayish green color. So yeah, I really like that. Super warm. Another great one for the winter time, like middle of winter. This is a worsted weight, as the other one was as well. So, you know, a worsted weight cabled sweater, it's pretty warm. So that would get worn to work a lot when I was working at the hardware store. There was no real central heating inside. There was just a little wood stove. So yeah, I wore that a lot to work. This is, I don't remember the name of this pattern, but I kind of modified it pretty heavily. This was a Knit Picks kit that I got from Knit Picks quite a long time ago. Again, this is probably 8 to 10 years old. And it was done in this kind of Cowichan Salish style. And you could choose what motifs you wanted on it. You could choose if you wanted the deer or this owl. And so I think I decided just to do both. So I have the owl on the front part of the cardigan, and then I have the two deer facing each other on the back. And this was the first time I did intarsia. I'm pretty sure that the pattern actually called for you to hold the yarn all the way through rather than doing intarsia, but I didn't want to do all these huge floats. Like you would have, if you can see like how many carries I would have had to do to get this yarn all the way around. So I ended up doing intarsia instead, and that worked out fine. This is knit in, this is Wool of the Andes bulky, and the buttons are hand turned by a wood turner on the island. I've had several sets of buttons done by this wood turner. She lives here on Pender Island, and so you can go to her shop and pick out colors of, well, not colors, but types of wood. This is a walnut, I think, and she'll turn the buttons. So yeah, I've lost a couple, like I've had the buttons fall off once or twice and I've had to put them back on, but this is another one that's gotten a lot of wear. You can see there's a giant pull here that I just never bothered to fix, a snag. But yeah, it's just a nice big bulky cardigan. Like I said, I'm not sure if this pattern is available anymore. It did come in a kit from Knit Picks quite a long time ago. I've also altered it to, it had a big shawl collar, and then there was like a belt that you put around it, and that was just not for me. So what I ended up doing was I actually borrowed the idea from that last hoodie I was showing you, or the first hoodie I was showing you, which was the Central Park hoodie. I kept knitting up. I put an owl on the back of the hood, and then I think the hood was still not deep enough. I added this color work here, and then it looks like I kind of like went back and forth and then picked up along the shaping that would have been for the shawl collar, and then did the button band. So yeah, a lot of mods on this one, but it ended up being something that has gotten a lot of wear over the years. This is another one that is fairly old. This is the Aftour. It's a traditional Lopi, like Icelandic Lopi design. And I knit this out of Let Lopi, which is a worsted weight. And yeah, I love it. I really like the colors. They worked out really well. You can see there's like a dark navy and like a teal, and then a bright blue and a white and a green, and then just a really nice kind of heathered gray. It has a seed stitch hem and a seed stitch, like I guess this is a hem too on the sleeve. You call it a hem. And then it has this nice rolled collar that you do seed stitch on the outside, and then I think this is just straight knitting on the inside, and then you fold it over and tack it down. So it's really nice and warm. Lopi yarn is quite warm without being very heavy. It is really itchy. If you are an itchy, like a person who doesn't like itchy wool, I would not recommend Icelandic wool, but as far as warmth and like durability and water resistance, it's amazing. And then this is another Lopi sweater that I did with the neon Lopi, and this is the bulky weight Lopi yarn. And I did this a few years back. I'm blanking out on the name of this one, but it's from the Knitting with Icelandic Wool book. And this is on my Ravelry page. I didn't keep a Ravelry page for the first few years I was knitting, so not all of them are on there, but this one is on there if you want this pattern. But the same thing, it's just a nice simple Lopi design. It has this crazy bright neon yoke and like a charcoal gray. And this one is quite warm and quite thick because it's the bulky weight Lopi, and it comes out when it's really cold out. And then this is another one that I'm blanking on the name, but it was from a Vogue Knitting magazine, but I did buy the pattern online. And this is, I believe this is in my Ravelry as well. But it is knit out of Brooklyn Tweed Shelter for the main color. And you can see it just has all that beautiful depth in it. And then the yoke is Noro Silk Garden. So I think I only needed one ball of the Noro to do this, 100-gram ball. And instead of doing the buttons all the way down, I opted to do just 3 buttons on the top. And these are more hand-turned buttons by the wood turner on the island here. And I knit this kind of in like a little like informal knit along with my friend Rowie. And it's funny because we both, I don't think either of us wear this sweater very much, but I really love it. You know, I actually didn't have it for a while last year. I sent it to be put up in a display at the library here on the island for, I think it was just a knitting display that someone was putting together. So I didn't have it for a while, and when I got it back, I thought, oh, I'm going to start wearing this. And so maybe this is something that I'll get some wear out of this winter. And yeah, it has a little bit of waist shaping. You can see most of the time I just knit my sweaters straight, but the waist shaping is actually nice for wearing it open because it kind of sits in a little nicer. And then what else do I want to show you? This is the Campside cardigan. So the Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer, and it is knit in a DK weight. This is Long Dog yarn, and it was their DK weight. I think it was actually Polworth yarn with this really nice kind of speckle going all through it. And it's another open cardigan. There's a button band, but there are no buttons, and it's designed to be worn open. Like you actually, you can see it doesn't actually meet up at the front, the two sides. It's meant to be open, but it has this really cool eyelet design on the body. You can see the light coming through there, which you get more and more eyelets as you go down the sweater. And I think I ended up knitting this almost twice because I knit most of it and then I realized it was too small, and so I ended up ripping it out and re-knitting it, which at the time is really painful, but you know, it's always a good thing in the end, I think, to have something that fits you well rather than trying to finish it and then it doesn't fit. That's kind of silly, right? So yeah, that's the Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer. This is the Lifesavers cardigan, and you can see it's super bright, and this is knit in Knit Picks. I'm blanking on the name of the yarn, but it's their yarn that's self-stripes. I wish I could think of it. Maybe it'll come to me. And then the main color here is Knit Picks Stroll in the Dove Heather, which is one of my favorite kind of all-time colors to have in the stash. And then just simple. I think I just grabbed buttons out of my button bin for this one. They're just like a kind of plain ivory color. But this is one that I haven't worn very much in the last few years, and I really got to pull out again. It's really beautiful, and I love kind of the neon. So the Lifesavers cardigan is by Tanis Lavalee, Tanis Fiber Arts, and it's actually designed to use scraps or minis where you end up changing to a new color every stripe is a different color. But instead I did this where you just keep using the same yarn, which I can't think of the name of right now. And I'm just trying to see, I must have, yeah, I carried the yarn along. You can see there, just barely, you can see where I've carried the yarn along the edge, which is kind of hidden when you pick up the button band anyways. So this is fingering weight, and it's a really nice one. It's got a great weight to it. Here, we'll just slide these over so you can see them all. This is my weekender. I have a lot of Andrea Mowry sweaters coming up, so this is just the first. This is my weekender by Andrea Mowry, and this is a great sweater. Rather than using a worsted weight yarn, I knit this with 2 strands of Knit Pick Stroll fingering weight held together for the marled effect. So the original pattern is written to use the Brooklyn Tweed marled yarn in like a worsted weight, but if you hold 2 fingering weight yarns together, you can get a similar look. And I'm trying to think, somebody gave me this idea, like I was watching a podcast and they were doing the same thing. So you only need about 200 grams of each color, so 400 grams total of fingering weight yarn to make this in this size. And so yeah, it has the reverse stockinette on the body. It has quite a lot of ease. I think I knit like the 2nd size up, which normally for Andrea Mowry's patterns I knit the 3rd size up just so it wouldn't have quite as much ease. I really like this detail here. And then you've got the reverse stockinette, you've got the slip stitch detail on the front, and then the stockinette arm. And it knits up really fast. And I actually knit a 2nd one of these for my mom in the Knit Pick Stroll tweed. I used like a gray and like a navy blue held together. And I knit one of those for my mom in like, I think under 2 weeks, 1 year for her birthday. So I would highly recommend the Weekender pattern. I love Andrea Mowry's patterns, as you're probably going to see here, but that's a great one. Here is another Andrea Mowry. This is my Comfort Fade cardigan. That's the inside, and then this is the outside. I love this cardigan. It is so beautiful. It's so well written, this pattern. It just makes a beautiful, comfy, cozy, you know, the name is Comfort Fade, and there's a reason for that, because it's just that sweater you want to throw on. And not only is it really comfy and cozy, but it looks really nice too. I get a lot of compliments on this. So you can fade, you end up fading the yarn through all the way through the body, and then you fade it again on the short rows, and you fade it into the sleeves, and you get these dipped sleeves. And the sleeves are actually done in garter stitch, if you can see here, and then the rest of it is all reverse stockinette, and it's just beautiful. I think the fading's beautiful. The short rows and the shawl collar do take some time because it is a big shawl collar, but I really love this cardigan. It's gorgeous. The yarn is Goosey Fibers, so Goosey. They're out of the States somewhere. I can't remember where. Somewhere in the northern states, I believe. And this was a kit that they had put together, custom colors for Comfort Fade. So I ended up just buying the kit. And so it goes from this gray to this gray with kind of blue and green speckles, and then it goes a little darker, and then it moves into this beautiful deep teal color. You might remember I knit a framework bralette out of the leftovers of this deep teal. That's a Jessie May pattern, and yeah, love it. Super pretty. And another, let's see, well, this isn't an Andrea Mowry. Let's go into Caitlin Hunter for a little bit. So this is a Caitlin Hunter pattern. This is the Zweig, or Zweig, so Zweig. And I'm trying to think of what I knit this in. This is Lichen and Lace in their singles. And then, oh, and then this is a Madeline Tosh single that my husband John bought for me as a gift at some point. And it's blowing out a little brighter on camera. Like, these colors are a lot more subtle in real life. But I love the detail on here. It's kind of like a mix of lace work, and there's some tiny cables. And then there's some color work here, and then you do these little teeny tiny, they're just single cable crisscrosses through the body. And, you know, I really debated on whether I was going to put these crisscross details in. And I'm really glad I did, because it really makes it just makes the whole sweater look just a little bit more special, I think. So this is a fingering weight sweater, yeah, and the Lichen and Lace singles, and then a Madeline Tosh single ply as well. And it's really beautiful. I love this one. The colors are gorgeous. I always get compliments when I wear that one. And then another Caitlin Hunter design here is the what is this called? Sunset Highway. It's the Sunset Highway sweater by Caitlin Hunter. It has this big long ribbed arm on it, and really beautiful yoke. Everybody was knitting this a few years ago. It was really popular. You know, a lot of people were knitting it as like a Rhinebeck sweater. And this is a mix of different yarns in here. The main color is Ancient Arts, and this is like, I think the colorway was called Dalmatian. And then this one is a dye out of Vancouver. Oh, it's Stitch Mischief, and this was like a cotton candy or something like that colorway. And then this dark navy is Koigu KPPPM. And then this color, this looks like it might be Long Dog yarn. I have a couple different balls of fingering weight in this bright blue. So I actually had bought a full, you know, set of yarn to knit this, started it. It was going to be like solid black for the body, and then like I had like a really bright pink, and maybe, no, I don't think I ended up in the end using any of the yarn that I bought to knit my original Sunset Highway. And I started knitting it, and, you know, again, one of those things where you just know something's not right. The colors were not working well, and so I ended up kind of digging through my stash and having another go at it. And then I bought this main color to complement the other ones, and I am so glad that I did, because I love this now. It's definitely more to my colors, still, you know, has that kind of pop of bright color, and it's still really fun, but not anything like it was going to be. I had like a neon pink and like a bright blue, and I had too much speckle going on. You really need one solid yarn, at least one solid yarn, to kind of keep this yoke looking, you know, give it a kind of some integrity. But yeah, another beautiful pattern. For my size, I needed less than one skein of, like 100 gram skein of each of the yoke colors. And then I think I broke into a third skein of the Ancient Arts. But if it was a larger, like I think they were like 400 yard balls of yarn, and if it was a 460 yard ball, I don't know if I would have needed that third skein or not. So yeah, that's a super nice one. This is the twin to what I'm wearing. This is the sorrel sweater. So this is the original sorrel sweater, where you hold fingering weight yarn held together with mohair. And then this is the summer sorrel tee, where you're just using the fingering weight on its own. But I knit this during like the beginning of quarantine, I think, in early 2020, and I absolutely love it. So what I love about this sweater, and what you might not be able to tell originally, is, like when you first look at it, is I've used really light colored yarns, and then I held it double with black mohair, and it just made this really cool effect. Now I think most of these are hedgehog fibers yarns, but this one is on my Ravelry if you want to check out the yarns. This is definitely hedgehog fibers, but I think I might have used another company's yarn as well, maybe some junk yarn in here. But as you can see, you kind of fade through, and your mohair kind of pulls everything together so that even though it's a fade, it's a bit more subtle. Like you can see there's quite a lot of dark in this lower color, and it sort of pooled a little bit. But I really love this sweater. The neck is high. It sits pretty high up, but I actually don't mind that for this sweater. And then I think I just use Knit Picks mohair for this as well. But like I said, you can check all this out on my Ravelry or message me if you want more info later. And I opted to do 3/4 length sleeves on this one, just for something different. And I think I was just kind of ready to be finished with it, to be honest with you. But yeah, I love this one. The mohair, oh, it's so soft. I need to knit another sweater using mohair as well, because I only have the one and I do really like it. And then this is my Soldotna crop. You know, a lot of these newer ones you've seen I've knit as, you know, we've been going along. So, you know, I've knit these in the last year. So if you've been watching my YouTube videos, then you've seen this. But this is a beautiful DK weight, and I actually used several of the scraps from my Comfort Fade cardigan here. And then this is to the Max yarn, I believe. And then I actually think that, so you can't really see here, but I've actually changed yarn colors. This gray was leftovers from my Comfort Fade, and then I changed into leftovers from my Campside Cardi, the Long Dog yarn DK, because they were really, really similar. They were almost exactly the same, so I was able to continue along with that one. But yeah, I really love this as well. I love the way the colors combined on this. The black makes it really sharp. And yeah, I've noticed on Ravelry that I get a lot of hearts on this one. You know, a lot of times I don't get a lot of people, you know, saving my projects, but this one I get a lot of hearts on, so I guess other people are also finding this this color combo inspiring too. Something I will mention is I did lengthen the length up of this. It's still quite cropped though. If you have a larger chest like I do, you will definitely want to extend the length on this Soldotna crop, or else it's going to be like sitting like right under your chest. Yeah, just something to keep in mind. I extended this, I think, as long as I could. I used as much of the yarn as I could, and it is a couple inches longer than it's supposed to be, and it's still very cropped. So just wanted to kind of mention that to you guys, if that's something you're looking to knit. And then this guy here, love this one. This was my cursed sweater. Remember, I was having all sorts of problems with it, but it is finished and I love it. This is the City Limits sweater. This is another Tanis Lavalee pattern, and you can put this, you can wear this on the stockinette side or the reverse stockinette. It just all depends on where you carry your yarn through, but I decided to do this on the reverse stockinette side. The main colors here, this is the Knit Picks Stroll in the Dove Heather again, and then the middle three colors here are by Euphoria Knits, and then the bottom is another Stroll in like a really, really dark blue. So this is a super fun pattern. Would highly recommend it. I really enjoyed knitting it. Here I'm trying to hold it up so you can see it, but I'm also trying not to block my face so you can read my lips if you have trouble hearing me. So anyways, maybe this is less awkward. Is this less awkward? Probably not. So you take 5 different colors of yarn, and you know, you start holding fingering weight yarn, and then you start holding the 2 colors double, or the same color double, and then you start using one of the gray and then one of your new color, and then you hold this next color double, and then you hold another one. So it's this kind of cool, it's like sort of a fade but sort of stripes. really nice, and the fingering weight held double makes a really nice like squishy yarn. I really love that feel, especially this nice superwash merino. Yeah, love it. Love this one. Would highly recommend it. I don't really have any of the sweaters that I wouldn't recommend anymore because they've been given away. So basically anything in this pile I would highly recommend. And then I just have two more left to show you. So this is recently finished. This is the Nurtured sweater by Andrea Mowry. This is knit in Knit Picks Simply Wool Worsted, and I think the color name is Winston or Winnie or something like that. They all start with W, so it's hard to remember. But the Simply Wool is undyed natural wool, and it's in this sort of biscuity, like beige color. And yeah, I knit this one. It's still cropped, but I did extend the length a little bit just so it wasn't too cropped for me. And yeah, I've worn this a few times this year and really like it. Looking forward to wearing this more as the weather gets cooler. We're just kind of starting to ease into fall days, but it's not quite worsted weight sweater season yet. Yeah, so this is a really fun knit as well by Andrea Mowry. And then this is my most recent finish, and it's another Andrea Mowry, and I showed you this I think last week. It's my throwback sweater. So if you want more information on some of these newer ones, you can go back to my older episodes because I talk about them a lot in progress. But this is also knit in Knit Picks yarn. This is their Wool of the Andes, and you can find the colorways on my Ravelry page if you are interested. I actually haven't really worn this yet, but I'm very much looking forward to it. It is a little cropped, but not too cropped. And then the only mods that I did on this was to add another another repeat of the chart from up here on the cuffs and on the bottom of the hem. So very happy with this as well. If you're wanting to shop on Knit Picks, I have a link down below that you can follow. And they did have a sale on, but I'm not sure if it's still going. They had an awesome sale going, so maybe I'll look that up while I'm doing the editing, and then if it is still going, then I'll post in there in case you're interested. So yeah, that is all my sweaters. I have a huge stack. It's like the height of me. And oh, I think Sammy's gonna come visit. Come here, buddy. Hi, baby. Oh, there's Sammy. Can you say hi to the camera? What's that? Me? Me? Yeah, good boy. Yeah, little Sammy, my senior Labrador, is just coming to say hi because I'm sitting on the floor. Yeah, so that is it. As I was saying, I have a pile of sweaters now, like the height of me, that I now have to refold and put away. As far as storage, I would recommend keeping your knits in plastic. It's not the prettiest, but especially here where I have had issues with moths and I've had to repair sweaters more than once because of moth damage, it's just not a bad idea to keep them in plastic. The other thing you can add to your yarn storage is the lavender sachets that I sell in my shop. They are really great for repelling moths. Or if you have a cedar chest, I have a small cedar chest that I keep like smaller hand knits in, you know, socks and things like that. I would love to get a big cedar chest, but our house is just too small. We don't have the floor space for it, unfortunately. So yeah, I keep a lot of my fingering weight sweaters just in like the large size Ziploc bags. I fold them up and I just put them in the bag and I keep them in my drawer. And then the ones that I'm not wearing very much, I keep in like a big plastic Ziploc bag, and we have one of those beds that has drawers underneath it, and so that goes in the drawer underneath my bed, sealed up in a Ziploc. And then the sweaters that I'm regularly wearing, I have one shelf out on my like my shelf where I keep a lot of my clothes, and I will keep those out, but I do tuck a lavender sachet in there just in case, even though they get moved around a lot. it's still not a bad idea to kind of keep those moths away. I don't usually have moth issues with things that are getting moved around and used a lot. It's usually things that sit for a really long time in kind of a corner or something and get ignored. Then I go to pull them out again and there's moth damage. So it's super frustrating. So yeah, I would definitely recommend keeping your stuff in plastic if you have moth issues. And if you're in one of those places that you don't have issues with moths, that's really nice. I'm kind of jealous because I end up having to keep all my yarn, everything in plastic. I have to keep it all on lockdown and be really careful about moth issues. So yeah, the last thing I want to show you is just the bags that I'm going to be putting in the Etsy shop on Saturday. And so I only have one of each print. I was planning to do a few more, but I ran out of my batting that I put in between the layers. So this is all I could manage to do, unfortunately, but either way, there are still some great things. So I had just a little bit of this kind of lumberjack plaid print from last year. So I made, this is my square sock size. So there's one of these available in the red, and this just has a navy lining. And then I have this lumberjack flannel here in the blue, and then I think it also has a navy lining. Yes, it does. And so these are pre-washed, beautiful flannels. So they're by Robert Kaufman, I believe. They're 100% cotton, and pre-washing them just starts to soften them up, and then it also makes sure that when you wash them at home, your pattern, like your plaid's not going to go all distorted. Because I wouldn't really, that would be sad, I think, if you got it and it got distorted in the wash. So they've been pre-washed and pre-shrunk, and it's just, it feels like your favorite flannel shirt already. So they, bigger ones here have the linen on the bottom. So this is a, what size is this? This is a large zipper. So my large zipper have, it's hard to see because there's a black pocket on this one, but they do have an interior small slip pocket. And the large will hold, I would say about 4 balls of yarn or more comfortably, 400 grams or more comfortably. And then this one is this beautiful yellow plaid with the beige on the bottom. This just has, like, you know, the couch in your grandmother's rec room vibes or something like that. And then a white lining with the yellow slip pocket in here. So yeah, zipper and handle. So I've got 2 of those. And then the rest of these are all the XL Finch bucket, the bucket bags that have been super popular since I started making them like a year or so ago. So this one is a herringbone. You might not be able, oh, I think you can see that. So it's this gray herringbone with the black on the bottom. And these ones all have a big set of pockets that runs down one side. So there's one big pocket in the center here that you can put your pattern in, and then 2 smaller pockets down the side as well. And these are very roomy. They hold a lot of yarn. They're a great sweater project or larger project bag. You can see how deep they are. They open up into like a big cube. And the drawstring's really nice. Big handle here as well. And so then I'll just go through the rest of these quickly. This is just a nice weave, like plain weave. It doesn't have the herringbone design, but it's in like a pink. And then I've got this lemony yellow for the lining and for the drawstring tab on the top. And then this is a beautiful, it's showing up quite bright yellow, but it's actually a little more subtle than this in real life. It is green and it's shot through with yellow, and yeah, like I said, it's blowing out a little bit, but if you look at the listing description when it goes up on the Etsy shop, which will be linked down below, my Etsy shop is called I Heart You. That's where you can find me on Instagram as well. I don't think I did that in my beginning spiel, but yeah, you can get a better idea of that color in the shop because it was blowing out a little bit there. And then this really cool kind of more neutral plaid with the gray and the black and the blue. And then I think this one's my favorite. I love teal, of course. As you can tell, my couch is teal. My walls are teal. A lot of my sweaters had teal in them. This is the herringbone again, in the teal, and it has like a teal matching drawstring and lining with black on the bottom. And then the last one is just another super fun plaid, really bright and more kind of pastel-y. You know, I wanted to get kind of a variety of colors in these. And so I did the lemon yellow, and then this has the teal blue for the lining as well. So yeah, these will be in the shop Saturday. I'm just trying to see my calendar. I think it's the 9th. I think Saturday is the 9th of October. And then these will be in the shop for you. And if they are popular and they sell out, I have enough flannel left to do one more bucket bag in each print. So once I get my my batting, and I'm actually waiting on more fabric as well, I might be able to do another round of these. So if you do miss out, yeah, if they are popular and they do sell out, I will do another round of these bucket bags, because I think they're awesome, and just perfect for fall, you know. So yeah, that's all I had to show you today. I hope you enjoyed seeing all of my hand knit sweaters. I hope you found this useful. I didn't want this video to go too long, so I kind of feel like I blasted through some of them, but if you did have any other questions, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'd be happy to answer any more questions you had. I will link you to my Ravelry page as well, where some of the more recent sweaters you'll be able to find there. But like I said, it wasn't until maybe 5 or 6 years ago that I started keeping a Ravelry page. So some of the older ones, I won't have info there. But like I said, if you are curious, I can probably help you out with any of your questions. You can just drop me a message down below. Yeah, and there will be a link tree down below with links to my Etsy shop and my Instagram and all the other places that I'm active on the interwebs. If you are interested in that or looking to find me somewhere else, I go by iHeartU, EWE on most other platforms, and that's the name of my Etsy shop as well, where you can check out my handmade things. I will also have lavender sachets in the flannels. I forgot to mention that earlier. If you are interested in getting some lavender sachets to protect your stash or scent up your projects in your project bag, I'm going to have some lavender sachets ready as well. Yeah, other than that, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe if you want to check out some of my latest videos. And I'm going to be back next week to give you an update and sort of a vlog on what I've been working on, because I've been doing a lot of knitting lately and I wanted to catch up with you guys on that as well. So until then, take care and enjoy this beautiful fall weather. I hope you're having beautiful fall like we are here, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.